There's a story of my grandfather, a man who I only knew as having a mustache his whole life, but apparently one time he shaved it off, and his wife and daughters didn't notice it for several weeks, and he finally said to them, "You didn't notice." And it was kind of a joke thereafter. But it makes sense, because sometimes things that are so common and we see all the time, we overlook and we miss because it's so common. It's just every day. It's just part of our life. In the same way, the church sometimes and really doesn't know its power. It's the magnitude of what it holds. The advertising and marketing and various manufacturers, they understand the power of religion. Car manufacturers, advertisers, various products, it's the real thing. They add elements of faith and religion and what it is to be holy into their product, knowing that it'll increase sales. Various lobbyists will know that if people can really understand their cause as being something to worship or to hold on to as a deity or something that is sacred, they'll really do well and make more money and be able to enact laws in their favor. But oftentimes it is the church that doesn't understand the depth of it, the power, the magnitude of what can be done in the power of prayer, in the power of God's presence in our midst. In the midst of a changing world, there is this constant of God's grace and love that is so deep, so abiding. The fact that God's forgiveness is always being spoken about week after week, we kind of take it for granted. The power of forgiveness is so deep, so lasting, so transforming. And yet it seems kind of every day, every Sunday, when we pray, do our prayers, it's just part of the service. The communion service, you look at it and it's just a little wafer, it's just a little bit of wine. The power that is in this unity, in this communion with God, is so deep, so transforming, so powerful, and yet because it is so common, we take it for granted. We don't understand the magnitude of what is before us. Let us take time today and remember that sometimes the things that are so ordinary are really the most extraordinary. The things that are before us and around us, relationships that we take for granted, are really the most important thing in our life oftentimes. We take for granted that which is so precious and spend so much time and energy on things that are really passing trends, fashions, politics. I've prayed for many presidents. Not one of them has ever called me up and asked me for my opinion, but they all want to have me donate. But all these various things come and go. But the things that last, things that are so common and part of our very being, we overlook because they're right in front of us. I learned one time in a retreat that if you want to hide something from someone, put it right in front of them. Don't try to hide it, because if you try to hide it, that's what they'll be looking at. What are you hiding? But if you put something right there in front, you just think, oh, it's an ordinary thing. Didn't even think anything of that. So too is so many things in our life. Things that are so sacred, so holy, so precious, are right there in front of us, waiting for us to understand the magnitude of their beauty. May that beauty, that power, that joy, that transforming power move and transform your life this day. Blessings on you and all those whom you love.